On this episode, we smoke the Greycliff G2 Maduro 6x50, and we dip into the Sassenach blended Scotch Whiskey. We are looking forward to a great time. Post-holiday, thanks for joining us. I am your host, Johnny Midas, and you're listening to Burnline Podcast. Burnline Podcast. The burn line on a well-crafted cigar is straight and sharp as a razor, much like our wit and wisdom. And what's up, everybody? Johnny Midas here, coming to you not live from the Hot Box, the smoky back room where deals are struck and fortunes are made, adjacent to the Blanco Cigar Lounge, nestled amongst the complex of rooms that comprise Union Cigar, Hanover, Pennsylvania, USA, the only Blanco lounge in North America. I'm your host, Johnny Midas, and I'm joined by your other host,
Angel Solario.
El Fumo.
El Fumo. I keep
El
forgetting.
Fumo.
That's going to be the new intro.
Yeah. Let's see if it sticks.
Yeah.
The smoke.
Yeah. I got a question for you. Really good holiday question.
What's that?
When he's done, what does Santa smoke and drink?
When he's done?
Yeah, like after he's done delivering. That sounds like a fun question. What does he smoke and drink?
That's a good question. I mean, part of that has to do with trade routes to the North Pole, I'd imagine. I'll bet you that all the big names have that locked up. So it's probably like, a general product or something like that.
What if it's just a house blend? Like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, he's just a
That's
house blend
exactly
kind of
what it
guy.
is. Yeah.
He's like not even name brand.
Yeah, he's like, tell the elves to throw some tobacco leaves together. I mean, he's got to deliver cigars for Christmas.
Right.
Like, he has to. Shit, it was on my good boy list, so
Right.
I know I'm not the only one.
He's like, oh, this cigar fell out the sack. It's okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's like factory seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, since he's kind of Nordic, do you think he drinks mead?
Ooh. Or like spiced cider.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. I was thinking more like when by the time he gets done, he's like, I want a fucking like black coffee with bourbon in it.
Yeah.
And like Padron 1926, something like that. Principe, not too long, not too big of a smoke.
Right.
He's got to go to bed.
What if Mrs. Claus lets him smoke inside by the fireplace? She's like,
No,
nope, go outside.
That's a thing. It's -40 outside, honey. I don't care. Get your stinky ass outside.
That's right.
By the way, that's how Mrs. Claus actually sounds.
Yep. Actual audio.
All right, back to the show. We are smoking the Greycliff G2 Maduro. Last week we smoked the Opus X Forbidden in the story package.
Yeah.
Phenomenal experience. Also out of the reach to some people, right? Like, I had to save for that, and you got to be super intentional to spend,
oh yeah,
$230 or whatever on a box of 4 cigars.
Right.
So this time we're going the other direction, and we have this Greycliff G2. Now, Greycliff is an interesting cigar brand because, first of all, they're out of Nassau, and I got a chance to visit their place down there. Pretty cool,
nice.
Small. And they make some high-end cigars. And Greycliff fans are odd because they're like super rabid, big-time fans of the stick. But it's like I can understand the attraction because they're kind of rare. You don't see them around a lot.
Yeah.
And also some of the sticks, like, I think normal consumers don't associate a $16-18 price tag with the name Greycliff.
Yeah, we got a couple of those.
Yeah, we've got a couple over here. But the fans are, no, you have to try them. They're good cigars.
Yeah.
And I think they're right. The Greycliff does make a great stick. The G2, though, this is like their entry level, affordable cigar.
Yeah.
So we are smoking the G2 Maduro. What they call the size something weird, like the PGX, I think, is what it has on the box. But it's a 6x50. So, I just call it a toro. And it's interesting. The wrapper is Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro, and it has a Dominican Nicaraguan blend for the filler. So they're not, I guess, super detailed in like tobacco content.
No.
These are rolled in Nicaragua, not the Bahamas. Um, and they retail for $7. So a
Yeah.
Toro for $7. That sounds like a value stick, and it might even to some listeners might sound like a cheap stick.
Right.
Like this might not be good
Yeah.
because in the last 2 years, like the number of $7 cigars has gone away.
Right.
Like, there's not that many left.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. And
Yeah,
this is one of those cigars where you can actually, you're like, what? $7? That's the
yeah,
thing still?
yeah, yeah. Um, so here at Union Cigar, um, Hanover, Pennsylvania, a box of 20 will run you $126, which comes out to just $6.30 per stick.
It's a deal.
Yeah, so swing by, pick up that box discount. This is, obviously we got to smoke it. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag at the beginning of the show, but this
Yeah.
is one of those sticks I think definitely you buy a box and put it in the humidor.
Yeah, I've already smoked a few
Yeah.
before the
Well,
show, but
and you can give it to anybody.
oh yeah.
You know, like
It's not gonna hurt if they
it's
just
not gonna hurt anybody, and they're not gonna hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
You know, like they can be a beginning cigar smoker and still enjoy it, but also like if they're chewing on it or disrespecting it, you're like, $7.
Right.
Or
Yeah.
$6.30 if you bought the box.
Yeah. It's not like handing out a Caldwell or a
Yeah.
Essentia.
Yeah. Yep. So that is what we're smoking today. I also brought the Sassenach with me. So my wife got me this for Christmas. Kind of odd because like an odd mix because the Sassenach is not an expensive scotch, but scotches are expensive. So this is like the $130 range. Not a cheap bottle
Right.
of scotch. So we're kind of pairing that with a very affordable cigar.
Yeah.
So different.
Oh, interesting.
Are you a scotch guy?
Uh, not really, but I don't say no to scotch.
I got you.
So I don't have it in my personal collection, but I will drink scotch.
I'm a scotch guy. All I really have in my cabinet right now is scotch and bourbon.
Yeah.
All of my friends are bourbon guys. I'm not a big bourbon guy because I'm not big on sweet, and
Yeah.
bourbon's a very sweet liquor. Um, I think I've got like some rando like rum and vodka in there,
Yeah.
but you know,
Yeah, I have bourbon and spice rum. Spice rum is one of my favorite drinks, but
there you go. Awesome. Well, I think it is time to go ahead and get these cut and lit. This is a smoking show after all. Um, so what have you got to clip your stick with today?
the Craftsman's Bench double guillotine cutter, straight cut.
Okay,
This thing's
nice.
pretty solid. So
Yeah. Tom sold that to me down in Westminster. I'm going to use the Perdomo close-ended or close-backed double guillotine. And the official cutting is brought to you by Fat Boy Cigars. The bold and delicious flavors of premium hand-selected tobacco leaves are highlighted in the original Jacked cigar by Fat Boy Cigars, as well as the Jacked 2, and don't forget to try the Fat Boy Cigars Boots on the Ground series. For every cigar you purchase in this series, Fat Boy Cigars will donate $1 to charities benefiting our frontline heroes. Fat Boy Cigars, welcome to the Fat Boys World. And let's go ahead and give this a nice clip with authority. No limp-wristed cutting allowed. Now we are just tapping the head on the back of the hand. And what that does is it gets all that loose tobacco leaf out. Nick showed this to me, and I've never stopped. Like, it definitely improves my experience
yeah,
because I'm not like scraping little bits of shit off my tongue.
right.
You know?
Not only that, she gets on me. She's like, "You have shit in your teeth."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When I went home, I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you."
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, let's get these lit. And you've got your triple flame polio.
Yeah,
Like that's
paleo.
that's like the $4 or $5 lighter or whatever.
Triple torch.
Triple torch. And I am using my official Johnny Midas Gold Bar lighter, soft flame butane.
Might be
And
a little low there.
yeah, I need to put some butane in it. So while we toast these, and as always, we remind our listeners, toasted, not roasted. Treat that cigar with respect. Yeah, I'm a little pissed. You know, we've got, you know how in our day job, like I buy hardware from factories in China
Yeah.
to import here. Like they're not our factories. Like we don't own the land or whatever, but they work for us. So I get online. I'm like, I want a gold bar lighter. So I just Google, Google shopping or whatever. I couldn't find one. So I'm like, well, I'll get one. I'll get one made. That's no big deal. So called up our contact and took $2,000 down with a minimum order quantity of five, of which only four ended up working. So I only got four out of the deal. But they got me these lighters, and so this is the official Johnny Midas lighter, and I sold the remainders at cost.
Yeah, I like that Rockefeller dual flame.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's got a jet and a soft flame.
I
Yeah, it's
think
pretty
that.
cool. Anyway, so dude just texted me over the weekend. They're selling these on eBay for like 9.99.
Nice.
Yeah, fucking.
Think.
Like the whole point was they were only supposed to be Johnny Midas
Yeah.
lighters, like exclusive. You can't get them anywhere else. So, but I was telling Jake, Jake. I don't know if you've met him, but my
From State
business,
Farm.
no, my business partner.
Mm.
He was like, "Well, what did you think they were gonna do? Like, unless you sign a contract saying thou
Right.
shalt not make. I mean, they put the cost into the tooling or something. They got to make their money back somehow.
Right.
You know." And I was like, "Yeah, but so I don't know. I don't know if I got ripped off on the front end and they just sent me something they were already making, or the back end.
Right.
They
Either
were
or, it
like,
doesn't sound good.
yeah,
Sounds like a trademark infringement kind of thing. More on that later.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah, when we get into our news of the week, patent disputes. Yeah, so I shouldn't say I'm pissed off because that's not my personality. Mildly annoyed, maybe.
Or I'd be annoyed.
But yeah, so now I'm just thinking through. I can't think of a way to get an official Johnny Midas lighter that nobody else has. Except the only thought I had was if I can get a lighter and get it like engraved by an artist,
Right.
then it's like, the lighter itself isn't unique, but that one is, you know, like this fake DuPont that I have, another piece of Chinesium. Pretty cool. It's a soft flame, roll light. If this came just plain like that, and then I could get an artist to like,
Engrave something.
yeah,
We
like
which we
Johnny
have
Midas.
right, which we have engravers here in town.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, we got a light on this thing, and let's take a couple draws.
Right off the bat, I'm not sure if you're having this problem, but mine's is pretty tight.
My initial draw was very tight.
Uh-oh. Speaking of outtakes.
Fucking rookie move. As usual, Burnline Podcast operating with zero mistakes and responding to our mistakes with no
There's
mistakes.
no mistakes.
Um, that was York. Who do I even know from York?
I don't know. It's one of those Google things where they're like, "Oh, we're from here," but it's actually Habib trying to sell you an
No,
extended car warranty.
no, it can't be, and here's why. Because I intentionally kept my area code from Louisville, Kentucky. So whenever I get those spoof calls, it spoofs local to Louisville because it
Mm,
thinks that's where I'm from. That's how I know that it's spam. So I can just ignore those. Oh, they left a voicemail too.
nice. We should play it on
Meanwhile,
air.
let's put it on there. See who's calling me in the middle of my podcast.
Is it?
Oh, this is Patty calling from Wellspan Family Medicine.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they got to reschedule. Damn it.
it's funny.
Fucking useless. I scheduled it for a day off on purpose. God damn it. Oh, this is a cigar podcast. All
Yeah.
right, so getting back to the topic at hand, we are smoking the Greycliff G2 Maduro. We selected this one because everybody can afford it. If you can afford a cigar, you can afford this one.
Oh yeah.
$7 here at Union Cigar Hanover. It's got this beautiful Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro wrapper, and it's Nicaraguan and Dominican binder and filler. My first draw was tight, and then it just immediately loosened up. So my draw right now is exactly what I would expect from a 6x50,
Yeah.
which, by the way, is my favorite size. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my draw is perfect. Um, all right, so presentation on this, the box is one of those low end. boxes that's like
Cardboard.
like a cardboard flip top.
Right.
Um, it has 2 layers of 10 cigars in it. I think the branding on the cigar I really like. You've got this black band. It's got the gray like sunburst almost that you can barely see in the background, and then this bright yellow, the special G that's the Greycliff G that looks like it has cigar smoke coming off it. G2, and then it has the 5 gold stars above it.
Yeah.
Um, it is embossed. Um,
Yeah.
Simple. The bottom of the band is straight. The top is domed. So really just a great presentation. Um, Not super expensive,
No,
right? Keeping the cost down. The box definitely keeps the cost down.
I think it just keeps with the theme. Keep it plain, simple, to the point.
Yeah, yeah. But nice.
Oh yeah.
Like not detracting from the experience at all.
Yeah.
Definitely nothing where I'm like, ooh, look at the packaging. Let's display this, in the
Yeah.
humidor.
They definitely did everything to save as
Yeah,
much money.
yeah. But also doesn't detract. It's
Hmm.
nice, solid branding. The color scheme is great. The box though is yellow on the outside.
Yeah.
That I don't care for. I think a black box with yellow lettering would have been much sharper to display, but it is what it is. But
And
yeah, just a really straightforward design.
yeah. The the one thing I did want to say about the box is I'm guessing that's the estate.
Mhm.
I just like that picture in the background on the flip lid.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. So on the inside of the lid, it's white with like a kind of a gold or bronze, um, like
That's
silhouette
yeah.
etching almost looks like. Yeah, it looks like the estate in Nassau. It's got the palm trees and stuff, which is pretty cool. So now the black, like on the box, the black is like what do you call it? Outline
Yeah, it's just a
on each
black
side.
outline.
Is like a 1/4 inch strip or something around the edges. That's cool, but I would rather like black with a yellow outline
Yeah,
or something.
that would have been sharp.
Like just because on the cigar the main color is black on the
Hmm.
band. Um, but that's just like the artist in me quibbling.
Yeah.
You know. All right, so we've got a few puffs. I guess I'm a 1/4 of an inch in or so. Maybe maybe like 6 millimeters. What are you thinking?
A
What are you
little,
tasting right now?
little bit of spice, a little bit of chocolate underneath the tongue, like cocoa. Not chocolate, but just
Mm-hmm.
some cocoa underneath the tongue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say this right now it's a really good blend
Yeah.
of spice, including there's a little bit of like cayenne spice,
Yeah.
like it's actual spicy,
Yep.
as well as some of the softer spices um, in there, like allspice and maybe some
Yeah.
paprika. Um, Definitely cocoa, like dry cocoa powder,
Oh yeah.
and cream. Like there's a little creaminess there, but I don't know, man. Like definitely definitely a ninja cigar. Like
Ninja.
when I light up a $7 cigar, I'm not usually expecting, this kind of has that flavor you associate with much more expensive cigars, at least $11
Right.
range.
This is what I've said before is, it doesn't matter if it's a $7 cigar, it could still taste better than a 15 or $20
Hmm.
cigar. Like it's just the price range does not equate to quality or
Right,
experience.
right.
Yeah, this is pretty good right off the bat. Getting a wavy burn line though.
Yeah, you've got a wave going on. I'm assuming that has to do with how it was bunched and,
Yeah.
and wrapped.
Like I said, it's tight right at the end.
Yeah. Mine is my burn line is a little straighter, but it still has got that wave thing going on.
Yeah.
And mine's not like so maybe that's about a quality
Yeah.
consistency
You
thing.
can hear it.
Yeah, yeah, yours
It's
is
tight.
very, very tight
Yeah.
near the head. Did have a tight draw to start out, but it loosened up like third puff in, so I can't really complain.
I guess we could segue into this conversation. Speaking of tight draws, how do you feel about draw pokers?
I mean, if I have to use it, that sucks,
Yeah,
but I'd rather use it than lose it.
right. I
You know?
agree. Especially like it's definitely a tough decision because you got to commit once you do it.
Yeah,
It's a tough decision when you got to do it on a $15 cigar or something more
Yeah,
expensive.
yeah,
Like this, I probably wouldn't mind it.
yeah.
We have the Draw Doctor here, which is actually a pretty decent looking draw poker. Pretty straightforward. A little bit of ribbing on the along the thing.
Hmm.
I forget what other brand there was. But they have like barbs on the end,
Yeah,
reverse barbs. I'm like, why would you want to
it
do
pulls
that?
tobacco out.
Yeah, but I don't know. That looks like more damage than help.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I had one that was like a jig. It was like a V,
Mm-hmm.
a long V
Mm-hmm.
of wood, and you rested your cigar in there,
Yep.
and then you poked it, and that helped make sure you didn't go out the side by accident.
Right.
But it also means you can't like put it in your pocket or something. You know,
Yeah, that's
what
a
we call
lot.
a tabletop tool. Um, and it did have. I think it had the barbs on it. It worked okay.
You can see I'm trapping a lot of heat in this stick in particular.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a lot of heat.
Because it doesn't want to come out of the head. That's why.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
So I know you guys can't see this, but when you get like a conical shape on your ash end, your smoking end, that means your cigar is smoking too hot. You want to keep it nice and flush with the burn line. It's not going to be completely flush, but if you start trying to get starting to get a conical shape, that's how you know you're trapping heat.
well, the other reason to have a conical shape is if they're using lower primings in the
Yep.
center and working their way outwards. Um, they burn more slowly or whatever. I know a couple of guys that smoke cigars that specifically look for a cone shape in their ash. Now, I think it's bullshit because I've smoked a lot of cigars, including the best in the world, and guess what? They all manage to burn straight. So,
Yeah.
you know, uh, I'm calling a little bit of BS on that one, but you know, to each their own.
Yep. So right now, another method before you get to draw poker that I like to do that works sometimes. I want to say about 70 to 80% of the time is I'm rolling the cigar in my hand to loosen up those leaves.
Hmm.
Sometimes it'll relieve that tightness.
Yet getting the pressure right is the key there.
Yeah.
Too much pressure and it just
I mean, you
cracks.
can even see
Yeah, and it's starting
how
to,
tight that is. That is crazy, crazy tight on this particular
but
stick.
it's starting to spit
Yeah.
tar out of the sides too, right under the wrapper. That's a
Yeah.
good indicator that it's way too tight.
Yeah. Man, I
Well,
wish
you might have lost that one.
yeah, I think I lost this one. I should probably take a picture just so we could show, this
Yeah,
is,
take some for the gram so folks can see what that looks like.
that's,
And then if you want to grab another stick or grab a draw poker, you can do that. So I guess there's your answer on the $7 cigar.
yeah,
Is
you get those issues.
yeah, you're gonna get some stuff through QC. If they really tested each one and took them out of circulation, the cost would go up quite a bit on these sticks. So, um, but for mine, which is burning just fine, I would call it a medium body. It definitely has presence on the tongue, and that spice is definitely uh, kind of a typical Nicaraguan spicy. Um, I find it really pleasing. Like this is like a
Success.
it's like a fleshy, like smoke this with a steak dinner
Yeah.
kind of cigar. Not what I would expect for $7. I can tell you that.
No. I could definitely grill and smoke with this.
Hmm.
Eat some steak, like you said.
Hmm.
There we go. I got it.
Did you get it?
I got it.
Recovered it? All right.
Victory.
So the hand roll method worked on this guy.
Yes, it did.
All right. Good.
So we'll see. We're starting to level out.
Hmm. All right. And with that, I think it is time for our tobacconist tip of the week. And now your tobacconist tip of the week with Angel Solorio.
So yeah, I wish we had a video of everything I just did, because that's one way to rescue your cigar, and um, that comes with experience.
Yeah.
Like that's definitely not a beginner level kind of knowledge.
Yeah, you got to practice so
Yeah.
you can just crack your wrapper.
All right, so I was gonna do one thing, but I guess now I'm gonna do two things in one. So the first one was when you're ashing your cigar. Since I was talking about conical shapes, what I like to do is, instead of tap the cigar on the ashtray or tap it with my finger, because you could pop a wrapper. That's how you can pop a wrapper.
Or you can dislodge the cherry.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then you
you'll
gotta
lose the
start.
cherry and then you'll have to relight,
Yeah.
which defeats the purpose. But what I like to do is roll
Stick the ash
Yeah.
against the side of the ashtray.
Yes, roll roll the ash against the ashtray. That way you'll get a perfect circle and you're not damaging your cigar and the
Yeah,
ash just falls off and it's not an issue.
yeah,
And then the other thing, my secondary tip is roll your cigar in between your hands, just like a slow back and forth motion, put a decent
like
amount
a
of pressure.
fire starter with
Yeah,
a
kind of.
stick. Like if you're starting a fire with a
That's
stick.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, that kind of back and forth motion.
But you got to do a couple things while you're doing that. You have to pay attention, listen, and feel the cigar while you're rolling, so that way you're not, because you can easily pop the wrapper with
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So you have to pay a lot of attention when you're trying to rescue it that way, so that way you don't have to poke it.
right.
So just and
Good. So that's one reason why I like the ashtrays, right?
mhm.
There's really two styles. There's the deep dish, which is great for outside because it keeps the ash from
Right.
blowing around. And then there's more of the shallow dish shape. One of the reasons I like the shallower dish, excuse me, shallower dish shape is precisely because I roll my ash off.
Yeah,
Right. So these ones that we're using,
a little deeper.
these are deeper and they're like, I don't know, 5 inches across at the bottom, 6 inches.
Yeah,
And reaching in to roll that is not super easy.
right.
um
I like to use the top edge. I just kind of
yeah,
roll it along there.
I typically will do it like this. I
Gotcha.
know I'm showing you on an audio
Right.
podcast, yeah, but like I'll do it like this on the far side and I can see what I'm doing. Or I'll just do it on the flat bottom if it's a shallower, like I can't get the right angle here because it's too deep and
Yeah.
narrow, right? um so yeah, like indoor, like the ashtray that I made out of, or had made out of burl wood
Yep.
for burn line, that's a very shallow indoor lounge tray, and you can totally do that.
Mm-hmm.
Super easy.
Should
But
probably bring that back.
yeah, yeah, I got to get that at Nick's garage. Um, but my back porch, I have that really super deep. It almost looks like a chalice. Um,
Yeah, I saw it. The one that was
yeah,
full to the brim.
yeah, yeah. That, like, those are kind of common. They sell them at
Yeah,
most of the cigar
I have
shops.
one as well
Yeah,
in my backyard for that reason. It's a
because
little heavier and
yeah, it's heavier and it keeps the wind from snatching
yeah,
stuff out and until it's overflowing
yeah.
like mine.
I think mine is what is it? Stinky cigar?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine's a stinky too. But it almost looks like the Holy Grail.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
the Holy Grail.
yeah, it's like a deep chalice with like a pedestal foot. And
There's a challenge. Drink something out of it with the ash in there.
oh God, what's wrong with you? Speaking of drinking, as we enjoy this Greycliff G2 Maduro, why don't we try this Sassenach? So this is a blended Scotch, and if you're unfamiliar with um, Scotch whiskey, we're not going to get into the history of Scotches or anything here, but um, you know, I guess famous blended Scotch would be Johnny Walker. Most
Yeah.
people are familiar with that.
Yep.
Um, this kind of reminds me of Walker, except it's nicer. Um, I think this bottle was like 130, something like that. So it's not a cheap Scotch. Um, on the other hand, you've got scotches that cost $1,000 a bottle
Yeah.
and up, so
Right.
it's not an expensive one either. Um, but it's nice.
Yeah.
So we've got that poured out, and I'm gonna give it a little snip. It's got the Scottish unicorn on the label. So of course when they were picking animals, England was like, we have the lion. And Scotland was like, we've got a fucking magical unicorn. And then the Welsh were like, fuck all y'all, we got a dragon.
Yeah.
And we speak a language nobody else understands.
Right. Which is funny because it's like there are no lions in England, and there that we're aware of, there are no unicorns in Scotland.
Oh, you unbeliever.
Yeah.
Just totally unicorns.
Maybe the dragons. There's still debate for that, apparently.
Well, apparently there were English dragons back before they hunted them all to extinction.
Right.
They were more like pumas, I guess. All right.
Ooh,
Mm,
that's fruity.
hmm Little sip, little oxygen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's got some of that peat and iodine,
Okay.
that Scotch whiskeys are famous for. Definitely not. This is definitely not like an Islay. I'm an Islay guy. Lagavulin my what I collect. Um, This to me it feels like a Highlands blend. It's definitely got anise. I don't know if you tasted that.
Nope.
Um,
I'm
that's
just
like licorice.
yeah.
So it's got a really, I think, a heavy anise component, and then what are those pears with like the leathery brown skin? Not Bartlett, but the other one.
I have no idea. I only know the green skin.
Yeah, so it really has that flavor of that leathery brown skin on that pear.
Gotcha.
So yeah, fruity is a good description
Yep.
of it.
Like
But
right off the bat.
it does have that astringent, iodine in the background as well, and really not the background. It's kind of right on the tip.
Okay.
Um, really enjoyable. It's smooth. Now I wonder if it goes with this cigar at all. Hmm. So puffing the cigar after um, taking a sip, I think that the cigar takes on a slightly different flavor. The spiciness was blunted significantly, and I don't know if that's because the whiskey just shocked all of the taste buds in my mouth. What?
I'm not sure. I'm getting more cocoa out of it though.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a flavor blast of cocoa.
Yeah, yeah. That was kind of cool. The sip and then puff was
Yeah.
kind of cool. Um, the whiskey definitely did not overpower the cigar. Um, it did change the flavor. Yeah, I think the cigar tastes sweeter, more cocoa-y. Um, and actually, I think the spicy on the cigar really complements the whiskey because
Right.
there's no spice in the whiskey at all. Um, so it's kind of like taking fruit leather
Yeah.
and sprinkling some spice on it. Like it actually makes
Yeah.
it better. You know, that's a Mexican thing, right?
Yeah. Something like that.
Right.
So like, do you know what they use? What wood barrel they use for these?
For aging
Yeah, the
scotch,
Scotch.
they're just wooden casks. Different companies will finish in different casks.
Right.
Now, it started as a money saving thing where, like, you don't want to ruin your bourbon, for example. So you can't you can't age it in bourbon barrels because it tastes like another bourbon,
Right.
right? Even the same brand. You don't want to do that. But you can take a sherry cask, right? Now you're adding a different flavor. And so they turn it into this marketing thing where now it's like, this is a special whiskey because it was, finished in port casks, or, like the M81 is finished in black currant casks, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, but what they're really doing is saving a lot of money because
Right.
those wooden barrels are not cheap. They're
Right.
very expensive.
Or let's throw these barrels in the sea just because.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, wooden casks. There's nothing in the branding about anything special there. One of the differences, obviously, with bourbon is it's charred oak.
Right.
So it has to be new white oak barrels that have been charred in order to be called bourbon. Um, this is also 46% alcohol by volume, so 92 proof. So a little, stronger than your off the shelf 80 proof, which is the minimum to be called a whiskey.
Yeah. It really goes along really well. So
It really does.
another accidental pairing.
Yeah, like this is a really good pairing. It's an odd pairing because
Yeah.
this scotch is double a lot of scotches you can just get at the whiskey
Yeah.
shop. It's a higher end, and this is a lower end cigar, right?
Yeah.
But they go really well. So let's do the puff sip puff thing.
All right.
So we're gonna get the cigar first. Hmm. Definitely have that pepper on the tongue, that creamy cocoa. It's almost like if you had unsweetened hot cocoa. It's almost what it tastes like. Now I'm gonna take a little sip of the Sassenach, bursting with fruit, a little bit of iodine. I'm gonna puff again. Mm. Oh, that is really interesting.
That changed.
Yeah, like the second puff is way different from the first one.
Whoa.
It's almost like I would say the second puff is almost like if you took a pear and you rolled it in cocoa. That's almost what it tastes like. Yeah, the first puff almost tastes like a steak. Like if you took a steak and you put some cayenne pepper and some cocoa on it, which sounds like an odd combo. And then after the whiskey, it tastes much more like chocolate fruit,
Yeah.
but not sweet chocolate.
No, it's you're just getting that cocoa taste.
Hmm.
Man, those are some unexpected notes that from a $7 stick.
Yeah,
This is
definitely.
not something you would expect.
Yeah. No, I mean, not at all. I mean, the types of flavors that I'm getting out of this, and I credit the Pennsylvania broadleaf to some extent, Maduro. I mean, that's a very authoritative wrapper
Yeah.
leaf.
I'm getting some leather,
Yeah,
chocolate leather,
yeah,
the sides of the tongue.
yeah.
Chocolate leather.
And I noticed the leather picked up after the whiskey
Yeah,
too.
it did.
Yeah.
Man, those are some interesting flavors. You're getting
Hmm.
more than just.
Hmm. Well, this is really enjoyable and surprising. You know, I brought the whiskey because it's cool and I wanted to share it with somebody. Um, I had no idea if it would go at all with this cigar, but it seems like it's pairing really well,
Yeah, you're two
actually.
for two on accidental pairings.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, Eagle Rare pairs with anything. That's why it's my go-to. I'm not a bourbon guy, but when I get bourbon, it's Eagle Rare 10 year. And yeah, this has got a spot in my liquor cabinet for sure. Like, when I spend money on scotch, it's typically Lagavulin
Hmm.
and the other scotches I have for gifts. And this was a gift from my dear loving wife. And I think it's got a permanent spot, man. This is a good whiskey. It was kind of a joke because what was that TV show? The Outlander.
What?
So the Outlander is like this weird TV show that my wife watched about like some lady goes back in time to like the Jacobite Revolution in Scotland,
Okay.
and she's an Outlander, which is Scottish for Outlander, Sassenach, and so they call her the Sassenach or the Outworlder or Outlander, which is the title of the show, the Outlander. And they named the whiskey after that. Now this did get gold medal awards in 2021 and 22, so you know I'm not just saying it's good; other people are saying it's good too.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good, actually.
Well,
Getting some.
so it was kind of a joke
Yeah.
because of the TV show, which she tried to get me to watch. And man, I am so patient with her TV shows. And I'm watching Fargo with her, but I could not stomach that show. Like she's like, you have to like it. This is your people. This is your ancestors, And I'm like, no, it's
Yeah.
fucking bullshit. I don't want to watch it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic on the show because it's all about white people being oppressed. So,
Yeah, that's a thing?
yeah, yeah.
No
Apparently
way,
that.
that's a lie. That
Yeah,
doesn't happen at all. Never
apparently.
happened in history.
Right. Apparently, the Brits were equal opportunity offenders when it came to oppressing people.
No. The Irish have nothing to say about that either. There's no
Yeah,
such
yeah,
thing.
yeah. How dare you?
Yeah. Speaking of which, though, the steak has picked up on mine. I don't know about you.
Mm-hmm.
Like just that meaty flavor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. Like
We're
for a
getting a lot.
$7 stick.
There is a lot going on here
Yeah,
for a
man.
$7 stick.
And I think the whiskey's helping it for sure. But even without it, like
It's
eh,
got a lot going on its own.
it does. It's complex. It's changing flavor, and man, they're like these delicious umami soaked rich flavors
Yeah.
that I expect from like upper primings, and upper primings equate to more expensive stick.
Yeah.
So, you know, uh, a lot of the $7 cigars in that range, it's all lower primings, and that's how they keep the
Right.
cost down. And you can tell because they burn really well and evenly, and the smoke is predictable and all that, but the flavor is flat,
Yeah.
you know. And I can't say that about this stick.
No, man, this is great. Like I'm getting just so much like bang for your. This is the epitome of what I was talking about. Bang for your buck.
Hmm.
$7, you'll get more than you would a $15 cigar.
Yeah.
There's a couple cigars on those shelves that I won't name. Do that, but
Anything called Monte Cristo. Oh man.
well, there
Uh,
goes any chance of being sponsored by them.
yeah. Sorry, General. We're not eligible for sponsorship now. Yeah, and also shout out to all of our listeners and fans out there. This is our 40th episode.
Nice.
Yeah, we did the end of the year wrap up a couple episodes ago,
Yeah.
and we mentioned 19 people have named Burnline as the best podcast on Spotify.
Wow.
How cool is that? Yeah.
19.
Yeah, I mean, well, but you're competing with Joe Rogan. Who knows? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's right.
it's
Yeah.
like, no, burn line is where it's at, man.
Yeah, and not to down any of the other cigar podcasts, but it's like they stick too much to I wouldn't say script, but it's like we talk a little shit on the cigar. We're either
Yeah, yeah,
smoking or the other, but not because we're talking shit, but it's like you have to be honest. Like
yeah. You got to
that's
be
what
real.
this is what this is, man.
Yeah,
You
it's
got to
just
be
two guys that know cigars
right,
telling you our experience.
right. And we're not the law either. We're not
Mhm.
the end all be all of your cigar smoking experience, but it's like if we're talking to consumer, we got to be honest about how we feel about certain products and
Yeah.
you know lines and stuff like that.
You're listening to the golden palate of Johnny
That's
Midas
right.
and the smoky palate of El Fumo, Angel Solorio. Yeah, it's just so cool that we got someone who can actually pronounce all this Spanish stuff on
Right.
the show. I'm over here like, Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Yeah, I nailed it.
You
I
know,
nailed it.
yeah. You know what I was thinking? We need to start our own company, but we were going to call it Olivia Cigars. We will be the most well-known unknown cigar maker on the planet. I looked it up. Nobody has patent Olivia. I'm like, let's go. This is where we take
We can make up a backstory about Grandma Olivia,
right.
who used to like make cigars, rolling them on her virgin thighs or something like that back in the old country.
Yeah.
God, what is it? This whiskey?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I was like, because everybody asked for this company, Olivia, but it's like,
Yeah,
wait, never heard of it. Oh, it's the best cigar company ever, Olivia. I'm like, no, no.
yeah, yeah,
Okay, well, that's how we start.
yeah, yeah. No, I think what is it like 50% of folks come in and they're like, "Do you have the Olivia Melanio?" And I'm
Right.
like, "No, I have an Oliva
Yeah.
Melanio or Oliva
Yeah.
Melanio, but not
Or
Olivia."
Olivia, Melania.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, you hear it all. Melania's. I'm like, no, that's a Trump.
right.
Uh,
Dude, I'm
cigar
telling you, this is a
Melania.
great money making.
Well,
We're on to something.
we can have the Olivia Melania.
Yeah, I know. We're on to
Totally.
something.
Yes,
Let's do
absolutely.
it.
Let's sell the shit out of those.
The other day I actually heard it for the first time. This lady said, "Oh, look, Tijuana minis." I was like, okay, I like it. I actually like the name of that, Tijuana Minis. So there's
I
another one we
met
can patent.
Mama before she was Mama in a string bikini on the shores of Tijuana.
It's funny.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there's all kinds of knockoffs.
Mm-hmm.
There was this movie company that was making these knockoff movies, and they got away with it because they used the parody clause
Mm.
in the copyright law.
Not Mel
And
Brooks.
no, so they had, but these were serious movies.
Oh.
They had one called Transmorphers
Oh yeah, the
that came
sci-fi.
out.
It was the sci-fi company.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They had Snakes on a Train.
Yep.
Yeah, they were really, really playing off of these names,
Oh yeah.
and I don't know if they, made any money, but I was aware of them because it's just
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
I mean, they're making money now. Look at fucking Sharknado.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's like, who knew? Let's just make a movie about fucking sharks in a tornado and call it Shark. And look at that. It's a fucking multi-million-dollar movie.
you got like these Hollywood types. They're like all stoned around a table. They're
Right.
like, what do people really fear? Tornadoes, sharks, Sharknado, dude.
Yeah. And it's like those are the guys that need to be making movies today
Yeah.
anyway. Because I don't know if you follow I like movies. I like film. A lot of the film industry today is pretty shitty.
Oh, totally. And you got insiders saying that.
Yeah.
You got like, who's that guy? Fuck, that did The Irishman on Netflix.
Oh, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, Hollywood sucks now. It's
Right.
movie by committee. They
Yeah.
kill everything.
Mark Wahlberg said something about it. No, Matt Damon.
Yeah,
I
Matt
think.
Damon said. I mean, and he's an artist too. Like,
Yeah.
he's a real actor, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Really on the artistic side of the
Yeah.
movie creation.
Yeah. All right, time to
Yeah.
talk shit on Disney here, but shit that Disney's been pumping out.
Oh my God, dude, and their stock is just
Yeah.
tanked. I mean,
Shout out to South Park and the Panderverse. Check it out.
well, I don't know if you heard, but South Carolina just divested their. I
Mhm.
think they have what $130 million worth of Disney,
Mhm.
and they're not renewing it. It's on the way those. Well, I won't get into the stock market,
Right.
but basically they're not renewing, and they're like that. Even Bob Iger can't rescue it
No, and you
because.
know what his solution was to all these movies tanking? We need more executives on set.
Mhm.
I was like, no, that's the last thing you want because there goes all the artistic freedom.
Well, what happened was the serious, mature artists left Disney,
Yeah,
and the 22-year-old woke brigade is running the company now.
yeah.
And
Congratulations, Disney.
it's a family company, like
Yeah.
families are not interested in that.
Mm-mm.
And then also you're compromising your values to like sell in China, but then you won't compromise having a gay character so you can sell in Saudi Arabia,
Right.
And it's like, I mean,
Yeah.
there's some hypocrisy there.
Yeah, they'll bend over to China,
Like, I don't think you should compromise. I don't think we should take a gay character out so that it'll sell in the Middle East. But you can't take out the Nepalese character
Right.
to sell Doctor Strange or whatever
Right.
in China.
Oh, but also, sorry to my Chinese friends, but China does not care for black people either.
Uh-uh.
That was the
Well,
quiet part Disney didn't talk about.
yeah, they don't care for non-Chinese,
Mhm.
right? Like the whole Uyghur Muslim
It's either they
cultural
don't.
genocide
Right.
is because you're not Chinese enough.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's bullshit.
Yeah. Unless you're Caucasian or Chinese, China does not give a fuck.
Yeah, yeah. No, they're very like fascist, basically.
No,
They are,
they're
you know.
they're a free market economy.
Yeah. Um. So touching back on the cigar,
That
we're
was a little too left field.
and no more politics on Burn Lone Pipes.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy.
Going back to the cigar, so I'm in the second third. We are smoking the Greycliff G2 Maduro,
Yep.
Toro. They have a weird name they call the size. I think it's GPX or PGX or something.
Yeah,
It's a 6x50, so it's a Toro.
yeah. I'm almost in the final third. Mine's kind of smoked fast because of that tightness I had at the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm about a half inch behind you on the smoke, but there's still that pepper component. It's much more evolved into like
Yeah,
pepper jerky to me.
yeah. As you can see, I'm a little scared to rip the band off yet.
Uh-huh.
I'm a little worried I might lose the wrapper there.
Yeah, it looks like your wrapper is separating a little bit.
Yeah.
Mine is perfect though. Look,
Yeah, that
there's
looks really
nothing wrong
great.
with it.
Yeah, it's just
You did get a
it
bad one.
yeah, it just happens. Value stick, they're trying to pump these out. It happens.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing of note, this is a very oily wrapper.
Uh-huh. Yeah, this is a classic Pennsylvania broadleaf wrapper. It's got that dark chocolate color. It's veiny, rustic, as we would call it. It's not toothy.
Right.
Um, it does have like a waxy oil
Right.
finish, which is to be expected.
Yep.
Um, and I was talking to Francisco from DBL, and he was saying Pennsylvania broadleaf is among the best cigar tobacco in the world now.
Yeah.
It took the Amish 10 or 15 years to get there,
Mhm.
but I guess they were growing cigarette tobacco and they saw the handwriting on the wall,
Yeah.
with cigarettes, and they and to
Not
pivot.
the internet.
Yeah, yeah. They saw the handwriting on the wall, literally. And yeah, they hire Englishmen to run the internet for them.
Right.
Tell me what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
It's fine. I just get pictures of your mom in the mail.
Yep. No, but what's interesting? I discussed this off air with you. There are growing tobacco about 5 minutes, 10 minutes north of here, and I'm
Mhm.
interested to see what exactly that tobacco is they're growing because they have a massive curing barn, and I'm talking about Amish people, but a state of the art curing barn.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
insane looking, so I need to check it out.
Yeah, see if we can do a burn line field trip.
Yeah, I got a contact, so
Yeah.
we'll make that happen.
We'll just
Like I
take
said.
we'll take the mics out there. We'll just do a tour.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. I don't know. All of my setups though are wired, so like we're using my laptop setup right
Yeah.
now with my USB mic, um, but I've also got the H6 collector with
Yeah.
the condenser mics, but they're all wired up.
Yeah. They make pretty inexpensive wireless microphones for your phones, so I think I might invest in that if we do field trips.
Well, so for the H6 though, I could plug in a receiver
Mhm.
instead of a line, a Bluetooth receiver that connects to a lavalier mic.
Yeah.
And it has 4 lines in, so we can have guests mic'd up too.
Right.
Yeah, I'll look into that. Yeah, so like I'm getting like a peppery, almost jerked steak now. There's definitely still cocoa and cream in the background. But I
Right,
think
you're
like
right at that spot.
yeah, I think the steak has kind of taken over.
Yeah, it's crazy. They might have been grilling or cooking while they were curing
Yeah, yeah,
the tobacco.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, pretty enjoyable stick. But on that topic of like value sticks, one of our highest ranking sticks was the Thin Red Line from Fat Boy
Yeah,
Cigars. Ton of tobacco for the price. I
yeah,
mean,
man.
I think it's $7.25 or something, $8.
Yeah.
And it's got that flat pigtail top,
Mm-hmm.
like a Bahique. A lot of tobacco and delicious. So yeah, I mean, you can get a really good cigar for half the price,
Right.
and I think this is one of them.
Yeah, definitely. This is like my fourth one I've smoked in the past 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and I normally try not to. I used to do that a lot as a beginner, smoke the same cigar, for a month straight or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But now I try not to smoke the same thing every once in a while. But this is my fourth stick, man. And I am just thoroughly impressed every time I smoke this.
Yeah, yeah, I think so for sure. And I thought about smoking a higher end G2 show
Yeah.
at some point. Like, yeah, Greycliff is one of those brands that doesn't get a lot of love. Everybody knows Padron, everybody knows Fuente, and most people are familiar with the General and Altadis products too, just because they're everywhere.
Yeah.
And then you have your boutiques. I don't know if Greycliff counts as a boutique. I kind of don't think so, but nobody can really define what a boutique is.
Yeah, it's a weird definition. It's like less than what, 60,000 cigars a year or
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's a cigar. I'll smoke it.
Yeah, yeah. And then you're like, well, what if you have a brand like Fuente that comes out with a limited edition?
It's just a limited edition.
Yeah, is it a boutique cigar?
No, it's just a limited edition from a
What's the
massive company.
difference?
Yeah, I really don't know.
So,
Like if you're a boutique, like okay, what I would describe as boutique is definitely Lee Marsh's Stolen Throne.
mhm.
I mean, I would agree that's a boutique. That guy is small.
But they're starting to be everywhere.
Yep.
And they were on Yellowstone. It's like, at what point are they not boutique anymore?
Right. I think Yellowstone was the
Yeah, like
high watermark.
Tatuaje.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are they still boutique?
I don't know because they're everywhere now, and
Yeah.
everybody's like, "Let's smoke this."
I'm sure they're selling more than
Oh yeah,
60,000 sticks.
yeah. And at one point, DBL was boutique,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I don't think they are now. Like, I mean, look at their portfolio.
Yeah.
I mean, we got what 10,
10
12
full
facings
yeah.
here, as is.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing. So I don't know where that line is, but
Yeah.
as far as Greycliff goes, like they make some really good sticks, but they're just not like popular. They're not that
Right.
common. They're not that popular.
Yeah.
But among the fanboys, I mean, it's like ride or die. It's like fans of that sci-fi show Firefly.
Yeah.
It's like most people haven't heard of it, but the people that have are like, "Oh my god, this is the best sci-fi show ever."
Ever. Yeah, I've heard it. I've never seen it, but everybody's like, "Bring back Firefly." Like,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I did see it.
They came out with a standalone movie though that kind of wrapped up the storyline,
Mhm.
so I'm not sure where they would go, but they had a really good crew, the actors.
Yeah, Dave Fillion was in that.
Yeah, Dave Fillion, and then the chick,
Katie Sackhoff was in that, I believe.
was she? Yeah, no, I was thinking of the companion, the prostitute, that Italian actress.
Mm,
She has a great smile.
yeah, I don't know.
She's a good actress though. She was in there, and then the sister or whatever, the one with the powers, the weird one.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't know much about the show. I know of the show. I
Yeah.
just don't know the fine details.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, well, we are in the final third, and we will come back after this short break and rank the cigar, give our last thoughts on flavor and burn and everything, give it a ranking. Keep your dial locked in the Burn Line podcast. We will be right back. And now your cigar news of the week. with Angel Solorio.
All right. So Gurkha is going to be suing Davidoff for copyright or trademark infringement
Fight,
over
fight, fight, fight.
over Year of the Dragon. Bruce Lee might have something to say about that. So apparently, Gurkha just doesn't like that Davidoff is using Year of the Dragon.
But did
For
Gurkha ever use Year of the
That's the
Dragon?
thing. I don't know, but this is what they have. These are the registered trademarks that Gurkha has: is Dragon, Dragon Fire, Dragon Lord, Dragon Slayer, Imperial Dragon, Red Dragon, Royal Dragon. Where in there is Year of the Dragon?
Yeah, I don't see Year of the Dragon in there.
And I don't think Year of the Dragon is something you can really trademark either, because that is
Chinese
used.
Zodiac.
It's just broadly used, but which, by the way, this is Davidoff's actual legal defense. They have the Zodiac series, which is okay. That's legit. And what's included in the Zodiac series? The dragon.
Yeah. Well, they're not the only one with the Zodiac series either,
Right.
and you don't see lawsuits flying back and forth because it's like, how do you claim a trademark on the Chinese Zodiac?
Right. You can't. It's one of
You
those
just,
things.
yeah, yeah. It's
Uh,
like, naming your cigar like Saturn,
right.
Jupiter, Pluto. Like you'd have to really make the argument that this is the core of your brand and that you're deceiving consumers because that's what it's about, consumer
Right.
protection, right?
Well, if anybody wants to get sued over deceiving consumers, here's the shit talking part. Gurkha telling that their consumers, their cigars are actually good.
Oh, oh,
Shots fired.
shots fired. All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but Gurkha just that's one of those companies. Yes, they're widely known. They had a good. I mean, they were good years ago. I don't know about now. They're not that great. Massive line. I'm sorry, Gurkha. You're just not good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with you there. I haven't smoked one in a long time. I can't think of one. I can't remember one I liked.
Yeah, the last one I smoked was that Cellar Select or something like that. Cellar
Mhm.
Reserve.
Yeah.
It's like that 15-year age tobacco. That's literally their last good one.
Mm.
Yeah, we used to get people asking for the Ghost all the time. I'm like, sorry, we don't carry Gurkha. They suck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry for the Gurkha fanboys, but
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, I don't see a lot of consumers being confused by a 20-something Davidoff Year of the Dragon and thinking it's a Gurkha. So I'm
right.
not sure that they have an argument there.
No, I don't. Who was who had that? Damn
Didn't
it,
Drew have Year of the Rat?
something like that. There was the one that was a tiger one. It was like a round.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, we had it here. We had like
Oh, Punch, right?
Punch. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah, Punch. And then they had the inside the wrapper. They had the Fortune.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. I think if you're getting into like Chinese culture, that you got a real challenge there. Like it would have to be core to your product line. Like if this is the only product we sell, and
right,
the other brand would have to be confusing the consumer. Other
right.
than that,
Yeah. I don't think Gurkha's gonna win this one. It's just
I don't know if they have the money to win it.
I don't know. I think it's like one of Gurkha's last hopes to stay relevant.
Yeah, going for
Honestly, that's what again, shit talking here.
going for a
Not
settlement.
Yeah, not shit talking is Gurkha's just looking for money.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
I wouldn't know either, but that's what it looks like.
like. I'm not an attorney, but since they haven't made any money off of their dragon copyrights or whatever, you know, I just it just seems
I haven't
odd.
really heard of them.
Seems like an odd play.
And like if you
Have they even used those brands on actual
that's
cigars?
what I'm saying. I haven't heard. Like Dragon Slayer, how many nerds or dweebs aren't using
Yeah,
Dragon
yeah,
Slayer
yeah,
as their
yeah.
handle on WoW or some,
Hmm.
platform like that or D&D. Yeah, I I don't know. I don't think Gurkha has any standing on this one,
Well,
from my point
thankfully
of
we're
view.
not lawyers, so
No, I'm not a lawyer. They'll
let
sort
that
it
work
out.
itself out. Yeah.
Again, we're not legal analysts.
Just cigar analysts, and we are currently analyzing the Greycliff G2 Maduro. This 6x50 Toro has a Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro wrapper and Nicaraguan and Dominican binder and filler, and retails for $7 a stick here at Union Cigar, Hanover, Pennsylvania, USA. While a box of 20 will set you back $126, which comes out to just $6.30 a stick. And I think this is definitely one of those that you buy a box and throw it in the humidor.
Oh yeah.
I mean, so as we're about to rank this cigar, and we talk about use case, this is a very versatile cigar.
Oh yeah, you can do many things while smoking this.
So this doesn't rise to the level of gift or celebration. This isn't a wedding night cigar, but it is everything else. You can walk the dog with this. You can grill with this. You can watch the football game with this. You can smoke it in the lounge. You can smoke it on the back porch.
Yeah. Maybe
You
mow
can
the
go
lawn.
go fishing.
Yeah.
It's like a mid body that's not
Yeah.
too strong to where I can do physical work and not feel like it's
Right.
gonna kill me.
You can walk around with it too. It's not an offensive stick either.
Yeah, it's not offensive. The smoke output is good. At least on mine. I know you got a rough stick there.
Yeah. Rescued it. Look at that.
The flavor is
Bulging out.
yeah, yours is fucked up.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the imperfection's definitely near the head on mine.
it's weird because this is definitely one of those cigars with I would almost call it full bodied but low strength. I'm just going with mid bodied because I think that's what most people would associate with or appreciate that description.
Yeah.
Um, but like the complexity of flavors and the amount of flavor, I would almost call it full bodied.
Yeah.
But it's light in strength, so
Yeah, it really
again,
is.
you can do a lot of stuff with it. It's not going to knock you on your ass. Can you imagine mowing the lawn while smoking a Padron?
Yeah.
Like you'd just
Probably.
get green in the gills. You'd
Yeah,
be
you
vomiting
would.
in the grass.
Hot summer.
Yeah, and hot summer.
Smoking
No
a
way.
Padron. No, definitely not.
Even that Opus X, like it crept up on us.
Yeah.
Like it was so smooth and light.
It was funny because you were like, "Oh, this is strong," and I'm sitting here. No, it's not. I think it wasn't until 5 minutes after the podcast is over, and I sit down like, "Well, shit, there it
Yeah.
is."
Yeah.
It's not the first cigar to sneak up on me
Yeah.
like that. The Alma Fuerte Plasencia.
Mm-hmm.
That.
That's
Oh my
another one.
god, that'll.
Because it's like it's smooth and light, and then it's like, and you get to the final third, and you're like, "Whoa, I'm feeling a little woozy." This cigar's not going to do that to you,
Yeah.
right? So we're going to go ahead and rank this cigar, and I think before we really just jump into that, why don't you give me your final thoughts on the flavor here?
The flavor, yeah, definitely is really great. Like I said, more than I thought I would get.
Mm-hmm.
Now that, especially since we were sitting down here and analyzing and dissecting it, you got that spice and cocoa right off the bat, little leathery, little fruity, perry, and then as you got halfway through, and then we threw in the scotch, and then we started releasing some of the more of those leather and steak notes,
Mm-hmm.
which was freaking awesome. Leather, steak, and cocoa.
Yeah,
That is interesting as hell.
Yeah, with a little bit of cayenne on the tip of your tongue.
And I haven't sipped on that scotch for about 20 minutes now, and I'm still getting those leathery steak notes. So it's like the scotch just kind of helped it along, but it's still there. It wasn't because of the scotch.
No, I think like this definitely changes flavor,
Mm-hmm.
between thirds. And it started out like cream, cocoa, and pepper.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like evolved into like leather and cocoa and pepper, and then it turned into like a charred steak.
Yeah. Real quick, check out how thin that wrapper is.
That's kind of interesting for a Pennsylvania broadleaf.
Yeah.
That's not a thin wrapper, but that
No,
definitely
that is. Check that out.
yeah. Yeah, they put a little effort into stretching that out.
Yep.
That's nice. Of course, that wrapper on that fucking Opus X. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was. I want to stay
That
thinner than this.
You could see through it. Oh my gosh. All right, so it is time to rank this cigar. Again, we are smoking the Greycliff G2 Maduro Toro 6x50. This has a Pennsylvania broadleaf Maduro wrapper with Nicaraguan and Dominican binder and filler. Country of origin, Nicaragua. Let's start with presentation. Angel, what do you think about presentation?
Presentation as far as cigar and wrapper and box, I think it was like a quick to the point. Like, hey, here's the stick, smoke it. Bang for your buck, and that's definitely what you got out of it. The focus is more on the stick than it was the
And the value.
right. It's definitely a value stick. Like, hey,
yeah. So, what do you think? What score are you giving there?
For let's see, probably like an 8 presentation.
Yeah, I've got a 5.
5.
Yeah, I've got a 5.
Then I would say closer to 7 now.
Yeah, I think 7 is a good blended score there. So, like 10 is like the Opus X story,
Right. Yeah.
like unbelievable. And then a 1 is like,
An unbanded
Yeah, like your
plain box.
your
Yeah.
your unbanded, or like your quorums,
Yep.
where it's just a bundle thrown in a box,
Yep.
the simplest band possible, something like that. This one is like it's right in the middle of the road. It's got its own box. It's not ugly. It doesn't detract from the experience, but it doesn't add to it either. It's just there. It's kind of like here's your cigar, smoke them. Um, so I think a blended score of 7 there's maybe generous, um, but something like that. All right, so how about price? And again, these retail for $7 here at Union Cigar Hanover. Your mileage may vary. If you're down south
Right.
in Maryland and they've got that goddamn communist floor tax
Washington,
illegal.
New York.
Yeah,
Yeah. That'll ruin it.
yeah. But I mean, it's still the cheapest cigar in the inventory. It's just an expensive
Right.
cigar. So what do you think there?
Uh, I think I'm gonna give it an 8 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Again, definitely good bang for your buck. But you might also get this what I got going on. I mean, that's expected. It's a value stick. I'm
Yeah.
not mad at it at all.
Yeah, we were 50-50 on this show. Like your stick didn't work out and it looks like trash now. The wrapper is all flaking apart and
I
it's
mean,
basically done in the final third.
you had that with the previous Opus X.
We actually did. We had a
Yeah.
bad opus.
So I mean, it
It,
happens,
it
man.
can
It's
happen.
part of production with anything.
Yeah.
Numbers game.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think 8 is fair. I had 8 for price as well.
Yeah.
I think $7 for this stick is a phenomenal price. Yeah, there you run the risk of getting a bad stick like you did. And as you point out, it's not limited to value cigars, but it's probably a higher percentage,
Right.
you know,
Absolutely.
with these. But $7 for a Toro with this flavor profile, I think it earns an 8.
Yep.
So let's talk about construction. So, I'll go first because we had two very different experiences. On my construction, there was nothing wrong with it. I clipped the cap. There's a little feather here where the cap, is like sticking out,
Yeah.
but not enough to affect the smoke. Um, it burned great. You can see my burn line here. It's wavy, but it's consistent. Um, the band was a problem. They used too much glue.
Yeah.
It's definitely stuck to the wrapper. I was
That.
able to prise mine off,
Yeah.
but I had to be super careful. Um, I think like mine is probably an 8 for construction. This is a well constructed cigar.
Yeah. I would say 5 on mine.
Yeah, I would say like 1 on yours.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a bad stick.
Yep.
I think a blended 6 is probably fair here.
Yeah. I think a 6.
Um, it's just we had two different experiences, and I think it's
Yeah.
only fair to point out to the listeners like if you get a good one, it's pretty good,
Yeah.
and if you get a bad one, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. And I also had to do some work to rescue it. So that's
Hmm.
part of the experience. Like, oh,
Hmm.
now you have to do a little extra work.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's talk about flavor.
Flavor, definitely like, oh man, more than I thought I would get.
Hmm.
For a value stick, a lot going on. You got some at the beginning, middle, and end,
Yep.
and you don't expect that from a value stick.
Yeah.
But now you're getting it, and then the Scotch added to the flavoring.
Oh yeah, definitely
Yeah,
helped the experience.
yeah, this thing's about dead.
Yeah, it's dead.
Yep.
You killed it. Nice one.
Yep.
So, what do you think on flavor?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay, I
Yeah.
think that's fair. I've got an 8 as well. I think you know for flavor, one of the things that kind of like sets it apart from some of these other ones is it's not really relative.
No.
Like the flavor just is what it is.
Right.
The presentation, it's a little relative. For what I paid for that Opus X story, it damn well better come in a fucking chamois leather
Right.
pouch, and all this stuff. Price, same thing. It's price value.
Right.
You know, um, construction and flavor though they're pretty objective.
Yeah.
And on this one, it just had great flavor.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
did.
it wasn't like a Plasencia, but it was really good and it changed flavor and it's an approachable flavor.
Yep.
Like you can share this cigar. I can't think of too many folks that are going to be like offended by
No.
this smoke.
I like I said, yeah, that's one of the things I look for when I smoke a cigar is what's it smell like, to the other person.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so that brings us to experience, the most subjective. So
Yeah.
we go from probably the most objective to the most subjective, but I think the most important too.
Yeah.
Like this is a consumerist hobby.
Yeah,
We're
absolutely.
here to enjoy it and
Yep.
have an experience. And we cheated because we paired it with a really nice scotch.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on
I
experience?
was gonna give it an 8, but I'm gonna have to knock it off a point just because of the work and then it falling apart there at the end. So
Hmm.
do 7.
Yeah, 7 sounds about fair to me.
Um, I think the benefit of the experience with this cigar is you can experience it so many ways.
Right.
This is very useful cigar. You can use it in so many contexts. And like I said, I think the only thing that's out of bounds with this cigar is like celebration, a gift, something like that,
Yeah.
where it's just not special enough.
Yeah. It's definitely a shareable cigar if you got somebody that
Definitely
comes over
shareable.
like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, can I smoke a cigar? Yeah, here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the one that I want to box in my humidor when, you and Noah and his cousin, whatever, come over. It's like,
Right.
we can all smoke these. They're not big cigar smokers, Everyone has a good time. It's affordable. Um, so yeah, I think that's a um, fair score for it. And your experience was not great. Like what you got out of it was good, but
Yeah.
you didn't get what you should have
Right.
because you had some construction issues.
Yeah.
Bottom line. Um, so that brings the total score to 36,
Okay.
which is a pretty good score.
That's respectable for a Valley Stick.
Yeah, like above 35 is a pretty good score. Above 40 is like whoa.
Yeah.
Um, and if you're above 45, you're
Yeah.
world class cigar.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think we've had 2 in the mid 40s, and
Yeah.
that would be like the
The
Opus
Pledge.
X Forbidden and the Pledge.
Yeah.
I think those were the only ones.
Yeah. Wasn't the red line almost there?
It was in the 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, low 40s. Yeah. Yeah, another amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. So that is it. The Greycliff G2 Maduro retails for $7. And man, I enjoyed the hell out of that.
Yeah. That was fun.
I've got a little bit of cigar left, so I'm gonna finish this off and enjoy it.
Real quick.
Real quick.
Real quick announcement. Sorry to cut you off, but we are starting a Facebook page, so keep an eye on that. Broaden our horizons there. I know not everybody has Instagram or X or Threads or whatever else.
Whatever. Yeah.
So we will keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, Facebook page for all you old people out there that still use Facebook. While we're on the subject, reach out to the podcast, burnlinepodcast@gmail.com, or Instagram @burnlinepodcast. Really, all the socials @burnlinepodcast. We're there. Let us know what you think about the show, and if you have anything that you want us to do, a cigar to smoke, a question. We've had some really good questions. Go ahead and reach out. And this is your show, and we want to add value to your cigar smoking hobby. So let us know. And we actually had some feedback on the holiday special, unboxing and smoking the Opus X story. Odin's Blood says, yes, what a cool episode. Gonna have to save for that stick. Yes, you will.
Yeah.
And singles of that, $90.
Yeah.
Like ridiculous price. But I think worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Budget for it. Like totally. Save up all year and treat yourself.
Yeah. I'm excited for our next episode.
Oh, yeah.
Stay tuned for that one.
Stay tuned for that one.
Johnny Midas is stepping out of his box for that.
Yeah, yeah. And that's all we have for you this week. Thanks for joining us on Burnline Podcast. Have a great week.